What's going on, everybody? Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com. Today we are here to talk about the Rabbit air purification systems. We're going to be doing an unboxing and a review later on of the A3, which is a new unit. It's been around for, I want to say, about a year now. They were shown at PCA earlier this year, PCA 2022 in Las Vegas. And while we didn't get a chance to meet up with them at the booth this year, we were able to secure a unit that we are going to unbox. We're going to take a look at, going to go through all the stuff what comes in the box and how the filters work, what filters come with it, the whole thing. I'll explain all that to you, as well as later on we're going to use this unit and we'll come back and then we will review it after it's been used, so we can talk about how well does it filter out the smoke, the smell, all of the general questions that I know I was skeptical of in the beginning. Going into these units, like, well, how well do they really work? And I'm sure many of you are too. So we're going to get into all that. We'll hopefully answer as many of those questions as we can for you. But without further ado, I'm going to start unboxing this. I'm going to show you what comes in this. Now, the A3 unit retails on the Rabbit Air website for around $749. There can be some slight changes with that. I know that it comes in black and white standard finishes. They also have these decorative finishes that come with it too, and I believe it's an extra $20 if you get one of those. Like, they have one called the Cherry Blossom. It has a whole pattern on the front of it. Also, depending on which filtration pack that you pick, I think some of them may be a little bit different than others in terms of price, but for the most part it should run right around $750 to just around $800. So it's kind of pricey, I know, but you know, with that, hopefully, you know, you get a great unit. So first thing you're going to find is this sheet up here. That's going to tell you basically how to unpack it. I'm just going to put that off to the side. In the top, you're going to have your plug and play. This is your power cable. You have your parts for wall hanging and your mounting and all that other stuff, depending on how you want to do it. This can be put on the floor, it can be put on a table, it can be wall mounted. So you can put it really anywhere you need to fit it or want to have it set up in your home, your office, your cigar lounge, cigar store, whatever you want to do. You have multiple options on where you can put it. And it's kind of a good size unit. So some people might find like, hey, I can really only stick it up on the wall over here. You'll have all the hardware with it right out of the box. Next, you're going to take out the top foam. And then inside is your unit. So the unit, now bear with me, I'm going to probably have to put this out on the floor just to pull it out. So you're going to basically take that off. This will come out. The unit is in a bag. I'm going to pull the bag off just so I don't drop it. And basically, you're just going to pull this right up. And here it is. This is the Rabbit Air A3. So, first things first. This one, the filter, obviously, right out of the box, the filter and the cartridge and all that stuff is already loaded inside the unit. But I'm going to take it apart to show you what it is, how it's in there. This front panel has a plastic thing on it. I'm going to leave that for now. But it pulls right off. It's magnetic. So all you're going to do is you're going to pull this off. Done. Now you're going to find your outer screen. This outer screen basically comes right out. These two little tabs here. I think it just clicks in on the bottom. Just give it a little pull. It'll come. Don't worry. That'll come off. That's a washable screen. That goes on first. Next, you're going to find this white piece of fabric. And that's going to stick to, if you pull this off gently, there's some Velcro on the corners. This is your charcoal filter. This is specifically for people who order for odor and smells and stuff like that. So cigar smokers are going to order the odor one. You're going to get this charcoal filter in there with that. That's what's really going to help with the smoke smell and the smoke breakdown. So I'm going to put that down here. And then lastly, in the back, you're going to have the HEPA filter, the paper filter. This comes in every single unit, followed by the customized odor removing filter. HEPA filter, paper filter, looks like a car filter, if you've ever seen an air filter in a car. And that's basically it. Those are all the pieces. Now, you're back in reverse order. The first one goes in, the customized filter for odor, which goes in tandem with the charcoal. Let that stay there. You have your HEPA filter. The HEPA filter is honestly, this is the filter that really means the most if you're not using it for smoke related. If you're using this for allergies or pet stuff like fur and dust, this is what's going to trap all the heavy debris. That's really what it's for. That's the one you're really going to want to focus on in terms of heavy debris. Smells is really going to come down to your customized filter in the back and then the charcoal filter. That's really what's going to filter out most of that. These clip back in. Now, the other thing you can do, after you have this all back together, like so, you can actually pull this tab in the middle here. And this tab, if you pull this, should, actually there's one on the top and the bottom. This will pull the whole cartridge right out in one piece. So you have all of the pieces of the filter in this one set, so to speak. So you can pop the whole thing out and pop it right back in. Now, before I put it back in, I will show you, this is the inside of the back of the unit. This is where the fan is, obviously. That's gonna suck the air through the filter and then up through the vent. So there's also a little, I'm not sure what this is, but it's some kind of electronic signal code thing that the machine reads. And I believe the machine can identify the different filter packs that you use in this unit, and it automatically knows what you're using, so it can self-adjust to work the best. So when you pop this in, you turn it on, right away you're gonna notice the machine will boot up and it'll kind of do its thing. Now the other thing about this unit which is very interesting, let's snap this back in here. The other thing about this unit that's very interesting is that you can use it with your smartphone. On the Android store, the Apple App Store, you can download the Rabbit Air app and you can fully control this thing. You can change the mood lighting on it, which actually, let me show you. I think I have another cable right over here. I'll plug it in and show you. It plugs in right in the back or on the bottom, on the lower right. If I can get it. There we go. Upside down. All right. So you'll plug this in, and right away you're going to notice there's a touch panel on the top. You're just going to tap the power button. The screen comes on. It starts blowing air. And then you have multiple settings that you can change. Fan speed. It'll tell you the quality of the air that it's being filtered through, whether it's, a really bad air quality scenario where it is, or if the air quality is currently really great. It's really filtered out. You'll notice, especially once you start smoking, it'll probably drop because the air is more dirty and soiled. You're also going to have your connectivity light on here. That's going to tell you if it's connected to Wi-Fi, because when you connect this to Wi-Fi, that's how you're going to talk to it with your phone. So you'll have a mood lighting button. You can change the different mood lights on it, which you can see in this little top strip right here. So on your phone, you can change the lighting. You can turn it on and off. You can change the fan speed. You can set schedules. So if you want it to run like every day while you're at work for 3 hours, you can set it so that way from 12 to 3, when no one's home, it'll just turn on and it'll start running at the fan speed you want. It'll filter, and at 3 o'clock it'll turn off. So it has a lot of programmable functions which are really useful and I think some people might really like. If you're using this in a cigar shop, it's probably going to run all the time. If you're using it in your home cigar lounge or wherever you smoke at home, you might only use it when you're smoking, or maybe you want to leave it on. It's totally up to you, but there's a lot of options with this. So the thing that we're going to do now is we're going to use this. We're going to run it. We're going to smoke around it, fill the room with smoke where we smoke in our studio here. And after about a month or so, we're going to see how well it really holds up, because I think the big thing that people want to know is how well does it filter out the smoke, the smell, and how long does the filter last? The filter replacements in these are, I think, around like 120 bucks to get the whole piece that I pulled out originally. So you're going to want to know, obviously, like, is it worth it? How often am I going to spend that to replace the filters? So we'll go over all that with you, and we'll see you guys on the follow-up. What's going on, everybody? Matt Tabacco from SmokinTabacco.com. Earlier I talked to you guys about the Rabbit Air A3. So we have used this unit. It's been a couple of months, and there's a lot to talk about. I mean, quick synopsis right off the bat before we really take it apart and get into it. It works well, more so for keeping the smoke content down in the room. The smell aspect of it, it does work right out of the box pretty well. There's a lot of factors. I mean, it depends on how big the room is, how many people are smoking, how often do you smoke around it. It for a couple of people at home, we smoke almost every day, not every single day, but 5 to 6 days out of the week. It works pretty good. Now, what I will tell you is it definitely keeps the smoke content down. It keeps the air smelling fresh, but it's starting to get to that point where it doesn't really smell very smoky and cigar-y, but it's just a little stale. So I would say for us, and it runs pretty frequently for us too, just because we choose to leave it on. I'm sure if you use it a little bit more intermittently, probably would last closer to a 6-month figure, but we run it all the time, so I'm guessing that's probably why. Plus, we usually smoke in our garage area too, so there's a lot of other things that are in the air that are coming in and out. But I'm going to pop the front off. I'm going to show you just how dirty this thing actually gets. So, as I said before, this is magnetic. It pops right off. It's the outer screen. Right away you can tell this thing's very brown. Very brown from where it used to be. Now the outer mesh comes off first, which is washable and reusable. Which you can tell, depending on the camera and the lighting and all that, it's very brown than what it was before. It was pretty like translucent before. It's very brown now. But that's washable, you can save that. You have this white piece in here first, which you can also tell is very brown. And below that, you pull this off. I mean, the carbon, you're really not going to see much of a difference because it's black. But up close, probably in person, you won't really see this on camera. There's definitely a tinge to it. You can see the dust and other kind of particles from the air inside there on the surface of the mesh. Then you get to the paper, the HEPA filter, which is very brown. This is, again, what's going to take the brunt of the majority of your air impurities. Very brown, look at that. So it filters very well. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's the best filter that's ever been made. I mean, but it does filter very well, especially for what it is and what it costs for your home. I mean, this is a pretty tough unit, especially for residential use. In a cigar shop, it's definitely going to see a lot more use. Then you have this part in here. Again, black, you're really not going to see much on here, but definitely takes a lot of abuse. And then, of course, you have inside, which for the most part stays pretty clean. The thing I do notice on this is kind of around the perimeter here, there's definitely a brown film. So I would recommend, because this outer tray part comes out, when you change the filter, just wash this. It's brown, there's some stains, there's some residue and some stuff. Just wash it. It's plastic, it doesn't hurt. Throw it in your dishwasher, whatever it may be. Easy to clean. But that's really it. So easy to really set up and assemble, easy to change the filters, as you can see. Filters very well. Dust, dirt particles in the air, extremely well. When running just the one unit, smoking around it, definitely keeps the room not very hazy. But as I said before, I mean, the smell part of it, not so much while you're sitting there. When you're done and you kind of leave the room and you have that existing residual smell and a little bit of smoke that's still in the air, after letting it run for a little bit of time, when you're done smoking, you come back into it later, it's pretty smoke-free, pretty cigar smell-free. So it's a good unit. I'd recommend it. I think they still make some of their older models that are a little bit cheaper. I think the only difference is those units are probably meant for, I think this one does like up to 1,000 square feet, and the other ones are a little bit less, so like 700 square feet, and I think the original one was like 500 square feet. So they'll do smaller. They're probably not as advanced as this unit, but I think they're a little bit cheaper in price, obviously. So if you're looking to maybe try with one of those units, this is definitely a good buy though. I think it's a great unit. It takes a lot of the particles out of the air. If you're not a cigar smoker and you're just looking at this, there's ones that have specialized filters for, as I said before, pet and odor and allergy combinations, so you can pick which one you want at checkout and they'll send it to you in the pack. So I would say if you're more concerned about like dog hair and stuff like that, I mean, it's gonna filter it out very well. Give it a shot, give it a try. RabbitAir.com. This is the Rabbit Air A3 review, and once again, I think it's great. All right, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and visit SmokinTabacco.com for more news from the cigar industry.